say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truth to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey, what's up, guys? Mike, Vince, welcome back, man. It's another Wednesday evening. It is May 28th, the last Wednesday of the month. Today is the last day. This day will never come back. So let's give it our best. And let's go out there and see what we got going on today. Mike, what do we got lined up for the day?
Well, it's episode 119, and it's May 28th.
Hey.
Of course, there's been every week there's new news, and Trump's Golden Dome.
Give it to me, man. I got it.
You ain't got shit.
Give it to me. Give me all the
we got all kinds of stuff to talk
Trump
about.
coins and shit.
No, I got no Trump coins, but Phil Robertson passing away. There's all kinds of news. We can talk about Phil Robertson. We can talk about the Golden Dome. The senators that are voting against the Doge cuts and why. And we have we have a lot of racial indifferences in this nation, and there's a lot of people who feel that. I have some video on that. Actually, share some video from another one of our shows on PPN, and
Honestly,
there's there's always new news.
Honestly, Mike, I feel like it's I think the racial divide feels like it's the biggest it's been, I feel like, in my entire life. And it's it's been fueled and driven. It's part of the plan to divide us.
Right. I agree.
But yeah, I feel like there's more racial divide than there's ever been.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if you're watching at home, hit the thumbs up, even if you don't plan on sticking around. We see trolls already there. Thank you very much. Hit the thumbs up. If you don't mind, if you're not embarrassed, share the show. It's what helps us goes around. You can find us on X at tothepoint.com or on the Patriots Prayer Rumble channels and all that stuff. So we got Dale or Jim in the comment section. Hey, how you doing? We've got an ad. I want to play tonight. We usually play the Warrior Shield Foundation promotion I got saved, but we're gonna do the Warrior Weekend one, and we'll close out. Our outro is gonna be the little video I snagged from the guys on the Corporal Chad O Foundations video. I would mess up his real name and rest his soul. It's not a laughing matter. But anyways, so we got a lot to talk about. But first, our new sponsor for the Patriot Prayer Network is From the Farm. Looks like a great organization. I'm excited to get involved with them and see what they got to offer. Some fresh beef.
Beef. That's what's for dinner. Beef.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just beef. They have more stuff. So like some of the other places we kind of were familiar with their websites, they didn't offer chicken, they didn't offer pork.
Right.
It was real limited. You were kind of sold on a bigger package.
It was pretty much nothing but beef. Yeah, no other meats.
Yeah, and you had to buy other stuff.
And you had to subscribe in most cases.
This I'm not sure. You might have to do a subscription here, but there's packages where like carnivore package.
Right.
But you get a mix and you get more than just beef.
So. Yeah, I don't want to subscribe nothing but beef.
Show them the video real quick so you can see what they're talking about.
I don't even know.
They got Prime, they got it.
Let's okay, this is From the Farm.
It's 2017. 150,000 farms have shut down. Working farmland has been reduced by 21 million acres. The system has been crippling the remaining farmers, forcing some to adopt nefarious farming techniques, like pumping hormones and other performance-enhancing drugs into their cows so they can survive in crammed feedlots. Or the farmers are forced to jump ship and sell to land-hoarding, profit-chasing agricultural oligarchies, who use their billions of dollars to crush the competition and increase your family's dependence on their manufactured food. What could possibly go wrong? The family farm will soon be a thing of the past, unless you do something. You can. That's why there's From the Farm, an industry-disrupting platform that connects consumers directly with local farmers, which means you can buy fresh, non-factory farm food, and you'll know exactly where your food came from and how it was raised. For the first time in nearly 100 years, independent farms will have a way to not only survive, but thrive. From the Farm was founded by A.J. Richards, an active homesteader, and Brooke Entz, a CrossFit Games athlete and an Amazonian warrior in the movies Wonder Woman and Justice League. She clearly has a passion for healthy food and a healthy lifestyle. And since both AJ and Brooke come from generations of ranchers and farmers, they know what they're talking about. We can't do this alone. We need the strength of the American people behind us. Help us build a new food system that combines the wisdom of the past with the technology of the future. Investing in From the Farm isn't just a financial decision. It's an investment into our future, our small family farms, and our food sovereignty. Invest today.
Yeah, that's that's From the Farm spam. Yeah, Threpa's guts, getting them guts. Oh Jesus. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting group. So I'm interested to see, and I noticed on the website you can choose from farms within your area. You can choose from which farms that are part of their network.
Oh yeah,
where you get your product from. So
Right.
And you can do a search.
Because
So,
I've always said, why would you want to get? Why is obviously everybody wants Florida oranges, but it's like you go to California, it's Florida oranges. You come here, it's California oranges. It's like I want the shit from my backyard.
That's why you gotta shop local for that stuff, kind of events.
yeah, it's hard though because it is expensive. We had a friend make a post on Facebook in a Facebook group about the parking lot at Walmart, and they run a small business that's a little more. I would be honest, Pete, if you're listening, you are a little high end for, my income, but it's excellent, fresh, food, like the best you can find at Olivia's over by the airport in Vero Beach. It's like a
really good food.
It's pre-made meals, like fresh stuff daily, and you go get your shepherd's pie and bring it home.
Take it home, heat it up. It's really good.
Promise you, it's the best freaking shepherd's pie you'll ever have.
Pie. It's really good,
and it's just really good stuff. But it's worth every penny, if not more. And he discounts his stuff. So, but he posted the picture and he's like, "This is the death of the mom and pops." When you wonder where mom and pops went, look at the Walmart parking lot.
And if you look at Olivia's stuff, most of it's big enough to feed two people. So if you were to feed two people off one of his meals, it's really not that bad.
No, you probably get more out of it too. Yeah. I don't know. But it's really good. Really good shit.
But if you can, once in a while, splurge, man. You only live once.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and
you gotta treat yourself.
Eat up, man.
You only live
my mom
once.
told me to gotta eat all my food. So
only live once, and you never know. You can go tomorrow. You gotta enjoy yourself while you're here.
We got John from TGI Now podcast in the comments section. Once again, thanks to you guys for showing up and hitting that thumbs up. If you're watching on any of the channels, make sure you follow thepatriotprayer.com, tothepoint.com, and all that. Everywhere. We're everywhere.
Mike, you know what? Let me ask you something. You know how we live out here in the New County. So we're out here in the state of Florida, the Sunshine State, right? So all these people moving back down from all these places, from all around the states and stuff like that, right? So we had this bad thunderstorm the other day, right? This is just me driving in this thunderstorm. We've never had tornadoes. We've never had all this crazy weather before that we've known of, or that the news has told us about, which is probably lies if they did tell us about it.
That you remember.
That I remember, right? So it's like all of a sudden, all these people that are coming from all these places are bringing their shit with them. if you ask me, it's like the other day.
You mean karma?
Yeah, all their karma and all of their
politics
stuff
too.
Their politics, everything. Like the other day, Mike, look at all this hell that fell.
We had a lot of weird looking hail.
When I was driving back from Tennessee, I was on 95 between here, Fellsmere, and Palm Bay, and I went through a pretty nasty hailstorm driving down.
Right.
That's the east coast of Florida.
So you don't think they're moving that knob?
Well, it's funny because Ron DeSantis had signed legislation saying, the state of Florida will not have any part of cloud seeding or spraying and nothing like that. And he's like, and he kept emphasizing the state of Florida never has, never will, have anything to do with this. But he kept emphasizing it like it's a different federal government, like it's part of the federal government that's doing it, not the state,
right?
Or even bigger, who knows? But hopefully they get rid of it.
I don't know, man.
But all of a sudden, that's what I was saying. there's a bunch of lines in the freaking sky.
Yep.
And then
There was a
later that
cross.
day,
There was a cross.
we had
that I
some
was like,
serious fucking hail. Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, this conversation will get
Crazy.
John going. We had more hailstorms
Crazy.
in 2 weeks than I've seen in,
Oh, my
in years
goodness.
and years. But
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
I agree. Now, back in '94, I'll tell you, my father survived a tornado in Barefoot Bay that hit the house, and luckily, every house around him was pretty much screwed except for the one he was in, and we had damage.
Right.
And there was
But then-
signs from a place like 10 miles down the road,
Now, was
like
it
buried in our front yard.
was that one part of a hurricane or was
No.
it? Yeah.
No, it was just a
Okay. Tornado
November
and a bad-
rain.
bad
I think it was
storm.
November.
Okay, but here's another thing. This is me just thinking again, driving through the weather, the Florida weather. You know, I'm thinking, oh man, the roofers' pockets are going skyrocket. And then I was like, oh, another thing, insurance policies. Okay,
Paintless dent removal.
Okay, what have we been
you
talking?
name it, man.
Oh man, what has the governor been talking about? Insurance policies and insurance this with your home owners' insurances going up, going skyrocket. Here we go again. You know, they don't talk
Yeah.
about these things.
There's an economy around
But-
all of that. Even
Yeah.
every tragedy has an economy surrounding
And,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
and there's
but war.
politics
Look at
involved
war.
in that too. Because, for example, there's adjusters that go around, and there could have been a hailstorm 2 weeks ago, and your roof needs to be replaced. They use that to get you a roof
Okay, but
because they get commission on it.
okay, and how about me, the person that my roof didn't get damaged? Why does my insurance have to go up? We were just speaking
Right.
and talking about this. Like it's not fair. It's all what is it called?
A racket.
A racket. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
it's
racketeering. or
racketeer,
whatever.
yeah, it's,
you know, and all between all of them together. You know, oh, you help me, I help you, and you help me, and I help you, and at the end of the day, they all help each other out, except the person that gets screwed at the end, which is the homeowner.
The government took
You know?
over the racketeering.
For
They
sure,
replaced the
yeah.
Tony Sopranos of the world.
You know,
you know?
you're gonna
or they
you're,
allow it.
you're gonna tell, and then especially it's perfect timing too, man. My mind is just blowing right now. Who's our roofers? Latins, Mexicanos, Mexicans.
A lot of them, yeah.
Oh, where are we gonna go? Call ICE. We know exactly where to fucking pin them at. You know, come on, man. You get me fucking going here.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy, man. It's like
Yes.
y'all worse than the bougiest people there is, man. Like the government is just look, this is for the government.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking
man,
of
it's
bougie,
crazy,
you know, I had some content I was going
My
to share.
bad.
I had some content I was going to share about a home invasion close to home. Not really that close, but yeah, All Area Roofing, by the way. Check them out if you're in our area. But I had some video about a home invasion gone wrong here in our area, kind of, and it's going to be raising a lot of questions, I'm sure. And it was funny because of watching Two Guys in One Coop this morning, and they had some different content I thought was kind of like goes hand in hand. So let me play a little clip from their show.
You know,
I hope everybody has seen this, and if you haven't,
You can
here's a
watch these
black-
guys on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Mhm.
telling Piers Morgan, you gotta watch
well,
it. I
you gotta
can't.
listen.
You gotta-
Basically, the race baiter was actually the black woman on that panel, Cheryl Underwood, not Sharon Osbourne and not me. So I'm very glad you raised the issue of race baiting. But let's be clear, as you're doing now, the race baiting came from Cheryl Underwood to Sharon Osbourne, and it's now coming from you. So now you can respond.
Cannot be racist, Pierre.
Now you can
Black
respond.
Women cannot be racist to white women. Are you kidding me?
Sorry?
That makes
Look
no
at Riley.
sense.
Sorry?
Unbelievable.
Black women cannot be racist to white women. Do you not understand
Oh,
that?
yes,
I
they
understand
can.
You don't have the intellectual
Oh, yes, they
capacity
can.
to understand
Oh,
that.
yes,
Oh, yes, they
That's
can.
very much
And you've been
impossible.
racist to me.
That's very much
You've been
impossible.
racist to me, a white man, by saying I'm a race baiter.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's shocked.
How am I racist to you? I'm black. I can't be racist
You
to
called me
you.
a race
Are you
baiter
kidding
with
me?
no
You're racist
evidence.
to me.
When have I
No,
been a
You can be
race
black
baiter?
person
You can be
cannot
racist
be
to
racist.
me.
When have I been a race
But I'm a
baiter?
powerhouse.
Tell
Thanks to Dale and Jim for that clip, by the way, because I I was lazy, of course, but they had great content on it. And yeah, I
that's
mean,
good.
that's the mentality.
Yeah.
If you're white right now, if you're white in South Africa, if you're white in America, if you're white in England, that's the mentality you're up against. I sleep with my gun under my pillow. Yeah, like Sweet Carmel. You know, in JD Vance, it was actually caught making comments. I mean, he wasn't caught, nothing, but he made comments about, you know, they used to have conversation about which Middle Eastern country would be the first Islamic country to obtain nuclear weapon. Would it be Iran? Would it be this? Would that? He's like, it turns out it might even be the UK.
Yeah.
You know, the UK might end up being, you know, and it's all fueled the race there. It happens there before it comes here, and I feel like we're seeing it happen there. And that everything is biased to these people. Absolutely, like you can't right now. You can't be proud to be white anywhere. Here is the story from this was Miami.
And
Miami
if you're white, you have to watch what you say all the time. But if you're black, you can say whatever you want.
This is very sad. This is a very sad story.
And
I'm not saying.
And then, but listen, but you know what though? Me being a Hispanic, I get put in the middle.
Right. I was just gonna say, I bet you feel like you're right in the middle.
You know,
of it
because it's like, oh, if I don't go on that side, oh, you're this.
I've seen it because
if you don't go on
spend
this
time
side
together.
Oh, if you don't go on
Yeah.
this side, oh, now you're that. And it's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, where do you get this?
But
from?
I've
Like,
seen it though.
like, I can't
My
be
biggest-
nice to
my
this
biggest
person, and I
thing-
can't be nice to that person because it's like,
Right.
oh no, you can't be on that side. It's
Yeah.
like what's right is right, what's wrong is
And
wrong.
for-
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm
For
not-
those of you
it's
that
just
don't know, the three of us all work together. So, you know, Mike and I can
bougie.
say, you know, we've
I've
witnessed
seen
where we
other
see that with
people
Leo.
in that community like shocked that Leo doesn't fall in line with the stereotype.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Like, I
those
don't
same
find
people-
nobody's stereotype.
Those
I
same
do me.
people are provokers though. They're provocateurs. They're not professionals, but that's what they do. They stir the pot, you know.
Yeah.
Stay in the middle and push through. Yeah. So here
sure.
is this hood mentality that you can't you just can't get. And this is a very sad situation. And I'm not saying I feel one way or the other. Either way, it's a tragedy. And well, here this is.
I don't care if she have her gun license, her rights, or any of that. That is way beyond the law, way beyond.
Relatives of 17-year-old Trayvon Johnson are angry the teenager was shot and killed last night by a homeowner who police say was protecting her property.
He was not supposed to die like this. He had a future ahead of him. Trayvon had goals. He was a very funny guy. He was very big on education. He loved going to school. He loved learning.
Last night, Miami-Dade police say the D.A. Dorsey Technical College student burglarized a home south of 79th Street near I-95, just blocks away from where he lives. Detectives say the 54-year-old homeowner was alerted of the break-in by her security system. With officers already on their way, she rushed home to check things out, and police say she was armed.
She observed a subject exiting the home through the rear.
According to detectives, there was a confrontation and one shot was fired. Johnson was pronounced dead at the hospital.
Hey, what's wrong with her? She did not have to shoot him. There's no reason that she should have waited until after he walked out the yard to try to shoot him. If she called the police already, then why would she shoot him?
Relatives say they don't believe Johnson stole anything from the home, but detectives would not confirm that.
You have to understand, you have to look at it from every child's point of view that was raised in the hood. How he gonna get his money to have clothes to go to school?
While the investigation continues into whether the shooting was justified or not, detectives want to remind the public that if possible, it's best not to take these types of situations into your own hands.
If there's any type of situation that happens or they believe there's a burglary at their home or any type of confrontation, dial 911. Have the police go out and make...
No, I ain't down.
Yeah, now that's that mentality. How's he supposed to get his money? How's he supposed to get his clothes? That's stupid way of thinking.
Yeah, very stupid. But
you know, now did he? I don't know how it worked out. The way it was kind of worded was, she was alerted by her security system. Somebody was at the house. She wasn't there, and she called the cops and went home with her gun. And he was on the way out. I don't know where he was. I don't know the logistics. But if he was like,
right.
I mean, already out and running, I don't think you should shoot him down.
So
now, if he came in and you're laying down, I
Yeah.
mean, it's all. Your life is in danger now, you know for sure.
So I mean, in that case, I've seen some cases like that before where people
Yeah.
have been arrested for that. And typically, if they're running, like even if they're running out your front door, they might even still be in your doorway and you shoot them. If they got their back to you and running away, in most cases, unless you get a really good lawyer and you get lucky, that's, you know, they can consider that murder. I mean, it's not first degree murder, but they'll consider it at least manslaughter.
For the record, I am not going bald. I shave my head every 2 days. And in anticipation of going bald, I've been doing this for probably 15 years now.
Would somebody make a comment?
Yeah, Troll says going bald. No offense, Mike. Dale says, I mean, what else was he supposed to do? Yeah, right. This is getting very serious in this country. Yeah. Clothes to go to school. You know, there's options out there, obviously. Like, I'm not a welfare or handout kind of guy, but I mean, if he was that good of a kid, there's somebody that could have helped him, you know, I'm sure. I know it's hard in the city, and it's real easy to get caught up in you know, in that kind of lifestyle, but I mean, you got to make better choices. It's too bad. It's sad that he's not dead though, but let's play. What are we at? We're at
that can
20
happen
minutes.
to anybody. That can happen to anybody.
What, you mean getting a desperate spot?
No,
Like
what
that?
happened to this young boy? You know.
Yeah. Well. I mean, not anybody robbing a house.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, now
Anybody.
this day and age, I don't know. It takes some serious balls to break into a house, especially in Florida.
Yeah.
In Florida, you know, man, like you have the homeowner's got every right to shoot you down.
And you know,
especially if you're in the house.
And a lot of states have the same laws. I was just on vacation in Tennessee, so while I was there, of course, you know, I always carry.
Right.
I conceal carry.
But you know,
but
but you know what, Vince? Today
they have the same laws we do.
I was at the store, right? And short story, or what is it? Long story short, I helped this little old lady out, right? And she said, I would give you a hug and a kiss, but there's way too many cameras out here. So all I'm gonna say is thank you. And she went off with her business. And then I just got in my truck and I was like, you know what? She's right. And
They're watching. Everyone's watching.
Everybody's watching. She said, there's too many cameras. And she said, whatever she said, there's too many cameras and they're watching. I was like, yeah, you're right.
Dale, have a good night. Thanks for jumping
That's
in.
crazy,
Dale.
man. It's just.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, make sure you check out Dale and Jim, Two Guys in One Coup, on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. They run usually for an hour and a half, and they have a top 5 that's different every week, so it's pretty interesting. The comment section's always lit, so
yeah,
I always appreciate 1 or 2 comments. So thank you guys for showing up. So for sure,
yeah, we can't do an hour and a half. We're a little too old.
Yeah, well, not at this time of night.
I'll get them going now. Because
before we do move on to our next story, I want to play the Warrior Weekend ad coming up on September 5th, 6th, and 7th, the Hero Fest, which, by the way, I saw a post on Facebook. Any veteran, I believe, first responder can get into the Hero Fest free of charge. Like, they waived the $50 ticket fee, I believe. And right now they got the whole package on sale for I think they said $280 or something like that.
They were saying $280, less than probably what your cable bill is from a lot of people.
I don't have cable. I have Starlink. Remember that, Dale. I'm not saying nothing about your internet, but I've got Starlink and a referral link if you need it. But I live too far. Well, make the trip, man. It's Orlando. Come on down. It's a sunshine state. I want to get out of the state. September's not bad, though.
Yeah, it's about to get real bad in the next couple months here, though. Next 3 months.
Yeah, I got to see this weather, man. This weather's going to be crazy. I'm going to be all up on this weather, man, because Florida is crazy with the weather. So is the people that are coming in here.
It's the humidity here. It's just you walk out the door and it just smacks you in the face.
Yeah, but it's where it's funny. We all want to relocate to some other part of Georgia,
and people want to move here. This is where people want to retire.
And it's like it's not different, really. Except
I want to be North Georgia, Tennessee, Carolinas area.
I'm 10 minutes away from the beach, and I go to the beach maybe once or twice a year.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe.
We have a vacation coming up to the Keys in a week or two. So
I'm
not around.
My bad, guys.
But yeah, I never go to the beach either. I go to the mountains more than I go to the beach. And like Leo said, I live 10 minutes from the beach.
Yeah, nobody cares about us in the beach. Let's go to the Warrior Weekend ad and make sure you get some tickets, man. Come on down to Orlando. We'll be right back. Don't go away, though, because we're going to talk about the Golden Dome and
Go get some water.
Phil Robertson. So we'll be right back.
The Warrior Shield Foundation proudly presents Warrior Weekend, a 3-day event from September 5th through September 7th at the Rosen Center in beautiful Orlando, Florida, which honors and supports the Corporal Chad Eric Oleg Schlager Foundation for PTSD, raising awareness and resources for its vital mission to help our most valuable heroes, our veterans. This powerful weekend will feature live performances by country music recording artist Ryan Weaver.
It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone.
American Idol runner-up Bo Bice.
Tired of looking down roads, wondering what I gotta do, who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me.
Christian contemporary and country artist Natasha Owens.
God and country strong, give me a cowboy who knows left from right from wrong.
Florida native and national recording artist Sean Holcomb.
You just watch your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. There's a compass and a map if you need.
In addition to all of the musical artists performing at the event, meet John Tig Tigan and Dave Boone Benton. 2 true American heroes who stood their ground and defeated armed terrorists on September 11th, 2012 in Benghazi, Libya. Not only can you meet Tig and Boone, but you can spend the day at the range, shooting and learning from the best of the best. Another hero that you will not want to miss is Colonel Gregory Gadsden, an American actor and motivational speaker, and a retired colonel and former commander in the United States Army. Colonel Gadsden is also a bilateral, above-the-knee amputee who served in the Army for 25 years of active duty as a field artillery officer. Nowhere else will you be able to meet this all-star lineup while supporting our veterans and first responders. This is an event of a lifetime, and one you do not want to miss. Get your tickets now, online, at warriorshield.org, and support those who fought and sacrificed so much for all of us.
Yeah, it's seems like it's going to be a great weekend. It'll be our first weekend. We'll be joining Dale and Jim. I'm going, at the very least, going for a concert with my fiance, and we talked about doing a podcast. Hopefully, you guys can come and we can do a
I'm gonna
podcast.
probably show up to the podcast with the guys and see what else I can get into some trouble and stuff.
Yeah, it's Orlando. So I drive, International Drive. There's mini golf. There's go karts. There's SeaWorld. All kinds of stuff. So
my back hurts, Mike.
Just thinking about that shit, right? Yeah. Well, Leo's VIP had all that because he's got like annual passes. Well,
to see a little rat.
That lucky lady is giving me 3 kids, so I might as well just call her my wife, and I usually do. So I don't know why I said
Mike's gonna be
fiance.
joining me.
Yeah, joining you where?
Oh shit!
Jesus.
For the annual passes. Just take.
Oh god, no, that's way too much money. There's 5 of us, man.
Anyways, let's see what's up.
Anyways, Golden Dome, right? Or
What
you
is
want to talk
Golden
about
Dome?
Phil Robertson?
What is Golden Dome?
Golden Dome. You know how we did a show on Israel's Iron Dome?
right.
It shoots down missiles. We did a lot of video on it. It saves their ass quite a bit. But we're not Israel, right? Like, we don't have people lobbing missiles at us.
One point,
Not yet.
Trump said, "Why can they have it, but we don't have something
Right.
like
Well,
that."
we should have the technology. And
We should have one better.
back in the early 90s, late 80s, maybe, Reagan tried pushing a Star Wars. It was called the Star Wars program, and it was pretty much putting satellites in outer space that would detect early missile, it was an early detection system, and it would have weapons on it that would shoot down an intercontinental ballistic missile, and that because those leave that those go into like the outer atmospheres and come back in. So this Star Wars program was meant to shoot these down, and it was just he couldn't get it passed. It was going to cost a shit ton of money.
Right.
I mean, they say the technology wasn't there, but they also say we went to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
So
which we didn't.
well, that's
another
everyone's
episode.
got an opinion on that.
But
so there's
with
that.
Starlink now, with all the satellites Elon's putting up in orbit, I'm sure it would be a lot easier to accomplish.
I was thinking, man, what happens when them things come falling down?
Right.
Because there's a lot of it.
It'll end up looking like a shooting star, probably. Burn up on re-entry, I would think.
Yeah, right. So the Golden Dome is supposed to protect the mainland U.S. and from missiles like that, cruise missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and stuff like that. I do have video we'll share, so let's listen.
President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following.
Bring it back there.
Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force, and here we are when the others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. And we have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it's supposed to cost a lot of money. Now, either in that press conference or another one, Trump had said how Canada had reached out. They want to be a part of it.
Right.
Because we
Right.
protect Canada, of course they want to be a part of it. And Trump, I guess, it was hitting Twitter, the Twitter trends that Trump said, it's going to be like $69 billion for Canada to be, under this umbrella.
They can't even pay their bills now.
Or he's willing to waive the fee when they become the 51st
Right.
state. He's still pushing this. I think it's hilarious. And obviously we don't want Canada,
Right.
Not all of it at least. But I mean, when you look at the map, I think it's kind of crazy. When you look at North America, right? Isn't it kind of crazy that there's a border right there? Like two total different style of thinking when it comes to governing and freedoms and stuff like that.
And so much of Canada's
Tolerance.
land is, just unusable. Kind of like Russia.
Well, for civilization, like you can industrialize some of it,
right?
And it's great farming land all throughout there, but it's also pretty vicious in the winter. So, yeah, so there's that. That's what that's what the Jews said about Gaza. Yeah, there's always that. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, why not? We protect it. And how is Greenland part of the EU? That still gets me. And I still want to go to Greenland and do a show when they become a state. That's kind of crazy. Greenland. What's this line for, right? Right. I mean, they would save a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Our military, it would be their military. I don't know. There's a lot of liberals in Canada. what we need to do first is fix America. And I believe they start with the census.
Make America great again.
Yeah, we're making America great again, but Trump needs to take it one step farther. Now, I've got a lot to say about the senators and the congressmen who aren't solidifying his executive orders and making bills, getting them passed into laws and stuff like that.
Which is the most important part of the process, because like you mentioned on previous episodes, you know, they don't do that part. If they don't push it into law, the next president comes along and they can undo everything he did just as quickly as he did it with a stroke of a pen.
Congress should really be getting busy, but we got a few comments in there. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, they need to get in there. They need to get these executive orders taken care of, because once he's gone, he's gone. The Doge cuts, we had, let me throw this up there real quick. We've got these Doge cuts. These are the senators voting against it. And yeah, we're fighting the courts. You know, we saw Marco Rubio talk on Capitol Hill last week about the judicial branch doesn't have the right to tell the executive branch how to conduct foreign policy and stuff like that. And tariffs, I mean, up until they took us off the gold standard, was a big part of our economy and our income. So you make the announcement if you like. Yeah, so we got Eddie on the line. Eddie, if you want to jump in, Eddie, if you're by the computer, we can bring you on if you're available. We're here for another 25 minutes. So Eddie's got some news. I'll leave it up to Eddie Smith, the co-founder of the Patriots Prayer Network. So yeah, just let me know if you jump in there. So yeah, so we talked about the Golden Dome. No problem. And stuff like that. So before Eddie comes on, I want to mention Phil Robertson passing away.
Yeah, sad news.
Yeah, because he was he was a character, right? And he was a part of a lot of people's household. He led prayer. He went against the grain on mainstream TV when they pushed back against prayer and stuff like that.
Right.
Born in 1946, died in 2025, obviously. Best known as the patriarch of the Duck Dynasty family and founder of Duck Commander, passed away, leaving behind a legacy rooted in faith, freedom, and unapologetic American values. Born in Louisiana in 1946. Well, can you imagine Louisiana in 1946? He lived off the land and was a fierce protector of traditional family values. He famously turned down NFL career to prioritize hunting and his faith. That choice led to building Duck Commander, a hunting empire that later launched Duck Dynasty, one of the most watched TV reality shows in cable history. Beyond the camo and all that, he was a Christian speaker and a cultural commentator. He championed faith, personal responsibility, and constitutional liberty, and was never afraid to speak the truth in the face of political correctness, even when it cost him mainstream approval. Yeah, they got canceled a couple times, but
yeah,
not for very long.
Yeah, some people, he stood by tradition, and a lot of the new woke stuff that he would speak out against brought a lot of people.
And he was no idiot
against him.
Yeah, he was a very smart man.
Yeah, oh yeah, very smart.
He authored several books, including Happy, Happy, Happy and The Left of America's Soul, where he's warned about the dangers of abandoning God in America. His sermons, speeches, and podcast appearances always carried one common message: return to faith or face the fall. Phil Robertson leaves behind his wife, Kay, their children, grandchildren, and millions of Americans who saw in him a rare thing, an unshakable man in an increasingly shaky world. And I had this. Let me run through this.
Happy, 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 happy. You little rascal, you. Father, we do thank you for another good day here. You have been extremely kind to us. Baby wants it. I'm a low-tech man in a high-tech world. When mallard ducks see these decoys, they will be mesmerized, hypnotized, and paralyzed. You are my best friend, and I love you dearly. And I'm going to be with you for the long haul until they put me in the ground.
Phil Robertson.
This was him at the Trump rally he attended also.
I I got it down to this. If you're pro-God and pro-America and pro-gun and pro-duck hunting, that's all I want.
That's all that mattered. Let me bring on Eddie. I don't really have a scene made for 4, but let's bring on Eddie's in the studio. So, Eddie, how you doing tonight?
What's up, fellas? So big news. Big news. Good to see all of you. I got contacted a little earlier, spoke to Maurice briefly about it. We will be meeting tomorrow, but it looks like the Patriot Prayer Network just got picked up by a streaming network, and we will be all streaming to streaming network from now on. All the same stuff. We're going to be streaming here and Rumble and all the normal stuff, but we will also be uploading shows to the streaming network as well. And there's obviously some incentive for doing that. So
this network, I'm assuming, is to be named at a later date.
After tomorrow, I'll be able to drop the names. But if everything goes as planned and we think there's no reason why it shouldn't, we will all be seeing a benefit from it for sure.
Listen, Eddie, there for a second. You're not being swatted, are you?
Oh, the red, white, and blue lights in the back.
Oh, okay. For a minute,
it looks like he's got.
For a minute, okay, wasn't us.
No, I redid the entire studio. So here I have an in-person studio where I sit down and I'm doing interviews live, and then I still have the desk area where I'm doing this kind of thing. But yeah, we made a lot of changes. But yeah, I was contacted. I was contacted yesterday. Luckily, I checked my email. I have a hard time doing that. And so I reached out to her today. We had a nice long conversation about what that means for us. And I see no reason at all why we wouldn't be doing it. And which means, obviously, we will be a little more mainstream. Not mainstream as far as our shows are our shows. We're going to do and say all the same things, but we will be getting a benefit for it, and we'll be going into an unsaturated platform where we have a lot of room to grow. And we were amongst a handful of podcasters picked to be able to be on this network.
So is this kind of like Rumble's front page kind of deal? Just a different network? Okay.
No. This is a streaming service.
Okay.
Yeah, this is strictly streaming service. So we've obviously been doing our jobs and doing it well, and people have paid attention, and now they're willing to reward us for our hard work.
Good. Leveling up. Sounds good. Leveling up.
Exactly.
I feel I was watching some videos from when we came on in October. I watch our older videos from a couple years ago and compare them to now and how far we've come. But even watching everybody else on the Patriot Prayer Network since we came on in October, everybody's evolved, and I think it's a fun rabbit hole to get into and evolve and advance our quality of streams and stuff like that. So, congratulations! I know you put a lot of work into this. So,
it's not just me; it's everybody. And tomorrow, guys, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. There was a young man out in Detroit, 14-year-old white Christian kid, who was wrongfully blamed for saying he would shoot up a school, but it's exactly the opposite of what he said. He was targeted for his political affiliations and beliefs. The teachers and the school district, everyone lied on him, actually made falsified statements against him, locked this 14-year-old innocent kid up for saying that he wouldn't shoot the school up. Got caught lying on the stand. He won the court case. Now they're in lawsuit. And the problem is that this kid had to spend 4 days in lockup at 14, innocent. And I tell you, dude, when mom told me the story and we did the pre-interview for the promo, it broke me, bro. I couldn't imagine having my kid be put through what this kid was put through strictly because he was a white Christian male who was a Trump supporter, and his mom spoke out against the mask mandates in the school. So this is going to be a big one. And it's going to be, matter of fact, I don't know what you guys got going on, but do you mind if I play the promo?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to play the promo. Give me a second to cue it up. Here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're at dire straits when it comes to the race baiting in not just the country, but we see it in South Africa. And what do they think it's going to happen?
We
like
were
here?
just saying earlier on this podcast, you know, in my lifetime, I think this is the biggest divide from race that I've seen in my lifetime. Right now,
especially if you're MAGA and Christian.
Yeah.
Here it is right here.
So it was the morning. I was in a new class for the new trimester, the second trimester. And it was December 6th something. And I remember, it's been a while, but I remember we did our work, and then when we were finished with it, we just talked, and I just talked to this other kid. His name was Thomas, and we didn't really know each other, so we were just talking, trying to get to know each other or something. And then I remember what we were saying. We played just like a game, you know, we were just doing stuff that we would do in a classroom. And then it gets up to the point where I say I would never get so mad where I would tell someone to like shut up, or else like I would never make a threat. Like I would never say shut up or I'm gonna shoot up the school. And the teacher just heard the second part of that, obviously, and then, you know, talked to me about it. And then afterwards I told her what I really said, and still she called the principal anyway. And then I was brought to the principal's office, and then just a lot more happened in there. And then there was an officer behind her that she just like kept showing things to, and I'm pretty sure he knew that like there was like nothing, because he was just like sitting there and looking like what he was supposed to do. I don't know, I didn't catch his name, he wasn't there for very long. But then afterwards I just sat in that room probably for like half an hour, maybe 40 minutes by myself or something. And then eventually like everyone comes in except for my mom, who comes in like 10 minutes later, and they're just asking me questions like, I think just about what I said, or other things like, can I do this, can I do that at home or whatever.
Like what did they ask you what you can do at home?
I can only remember some of the questions that they asked her when she was in the room, like do I have access to guns at home? Which was no, obviously. Is there? Yeah, but it was in a safe. There was just questions if I could access something that could hurt somebody, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And most of them were just like, no, or like they're locked behind something. And like I just basically couldn't get to those things. And then afterwards, I don't remember what they said, but I remember like the basis of it. Like they said, if we do this, I can go home, which was like go to a therapist or medical evaluationist. And they said if we did that when we left there, I could just go home and things would happen later on. But then eventually they just come in.
The detective got there.
The detective got there, I guess, and then he comes in the room, the detective, and I don't know the words, but yeah, I was arrested afterwards. Told me to get up and just get ready to go, I guess.
You're going to jail is what he said to him.
Domestic terrorism, I think. Yeah, I would say it was a noisy room. I can remember that. And she was passing back papers like across the room. So I wouldn't say she had an accurate statement at all.
Mind you, this was during COVID and everybody had masks on.
Yeah, so it would have been harder to hear from a range anyway.
Yeah, so I actually received a call. It was 10 o'clock because I had just gotten to work, and I was told I need to come and get my son. He is in big trouble. I raced down to the school. It took me about 15 minutes to get there. As soon as I got there, I wanted to see my son, and Megan O'Brien, the principal, she came out and she told me they're not ready for me yet. And she proceeded to come back out within an hour and a half, 3 different times, and tell me that they were not ready for me yet. So basically what they were doing going through his phone is they had found that picture of Kyle Rittenhouse, and they had found the picture.
I want to stop it there because there were no police on the scene, and they kept this mother separate from her son and wouldn't let her and her son. And then they illegally took the kid's phone and told him he had to give school staff his code to his phone. So just so you understand.
Of the prosecutor during that trial where he was holding an AK-47, whatever kind of gun it was. I'm not very familiar with guns. It was a big gun. And basically they were looking at these pictures on his phone. And I actually had the vice principal, Andrew Tomczak, he showed me the picture of Kyle Rittenhouse and told me that my son had terroristic tendencies because of that. Absolutely. It was political persecution from the very beginning. The school staff already knew who I was as a mother. We had only been to this school for 2 months before this happened. We just moved out to the country to provide our kids just a better lifestyle growing up, more wholesome. We just thought this was going to be a little bit more conservative, and we were wrong. So my first complaint was about the mask mandate, and my second complaint was about a gender poster that was in the science class. So they knew who I was when they had my child in this situation, and they took full advantage of it. Think about where we were in 2021, just the political hostile nature that we were in. It was our white conservatives with targets on their back. And unfortunately, our children, even during this investigation, I found an assignment in my son's backpack where they were teaching that Christians worship Allah. And I turned that assignment in during the investigation. So I think that that was motive as well to railroad my 14-year-old innocent son.
So
I only had the class that it was in for the second semester, which was only a few days, but it was world history. I think it was just learning the religions and what they worship. And I think the assignment she's talking about was called a flowcabulary, which takes like learning into a song form.
Yeah, so the teacher played a song and had the kids fill in the blanks. And I have no problem reading you that second page of that assignment while you guys still talk, just so you can hear how egregious it is. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the second page of the assignment, it is continuing the Christian column from page 1, and it says, God the Father, the Son, that's Jesus, and the Holy Ghost, that's what they believe in. It was their mission to spread faith. That's why the religion is so big today. Thou shalt not kill, turn the other cheek, avoid extremes, find the middle way, fixed in yoga, do thy work. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. This is what they were teaching in freshman history class. But we do have to believe that the greater of good was this assignment being turned in, being looked at, and these children not having to be confused any longer that Christians worship Allah.
Yeah.
In school, teacher get fired for teaching religion.
Do like all the what do you call it? The registering stuff, and then they register me or whatever, and then I just sit in a waiting room for like, I couldn't even tell you if it was like a few hours or like 8 hours. It was hard to tell.
He was basically threatened that they were going to tear him up, his white meat, fresh meat. He was basically threatened if he was put in the general population. But during that time, I was praying to the Lord and just asking to protect my son, and he was never put into general population. Thanks be to God.
Well, I was in the police station for however long, and then I was actually put into the facility. What was it? The Detroit Juvenile Detention Center.
So he left the school in handcuffs when the bell rang. They waited for the bell to ring so they could parade him out to the car. A little humiliation. So he actually left the school about 2:45, and he stayed at the Huron Township Police Department until about, I believe it was 6:45. I actually arrived at about 5 o'clock with food for him because the only couple minutes we did get to speak, he told me he was starving. So I known, come 5:45, whatever time it was, that my son was hungry. So I went to Burger King and I got him some food, and I just wrote on the brown bag, God loves you, God has you, be strong. I remember I pulled up and the detective, Gerard, came out, and I said, can you please give this food to my son? And he said, no. And I gave him this mama look. And I said, my son hasn't eaten all day. Can you please give him this food? And he then grabbed the bag and he gave it to him. And then they took him, I think it was about 6:20, it says on the papers, to the juvenile justice in Detroit.
Like a 8 by 10 cinder block cell.
Innocent 14-year-old child.
It's just a couple years older than my son.
Yes, I mean, kind of fast forward a little bit. I'll kind of fill in some of the gray areas. He was given notice that he was going to have an expulsion hearing a couple days later. So at his expulsion hearing, the vice principal, Andrew Tomczak, he even said that this was done in a joking manner. But then he sat during our criminal trial and he tried to say that Dylan admitted to him that he had made that threat, which was just a complete lie. He perjured himself. He should absolutely be arrested. But the judge was able to see past all of the lies. He was able to see there was a false narrative that was created and a false fear that was put out in the community. And he found Dylan not guilty. He told Dylan that he was sorry this happened to our family. He doesn't see anything that even should have been perceived as a threat. And he told him that he was free to go. And he was found not guilty. And that was after fighting a long battle for a year. They tried to give us off-record plea deals. The first one, they wanted him to plead guilty to disorderly conduct, which I said my son was not drunk in the street naked. He did nothing wrong. The second plea deal, they wanted him to write an apology letter that said he was sorry. At that point, I went and asked him what he thought about that, and he said that they should be writing him a letter. So we did not write the letter. We powered forward and we went to trial. And we actually went trial by judge, and the judge found him not guilty. It was all over the place. They basically put out the false narrative, but when he was found not guilty, it was crickets. I didn't have a state representative knocking on my door, trying to help defend my son like they did the MS-13 gang member. There's been no apology. There's been no accountability. I personally believe that the state prosecutor, Kim Worthy, should be held accountable. When I talked to my first lawyer, he tells me that the DA, he was just a third party. He said everything came directly from Kim Worthy. She did not want to drop this case. She wanted to pursue it, and basically all of the moves were coming from her. So she should absolutely be held accountable. They should not be getting government immunity. There was clear gross negligence. There was no due process for my child. And if you look at it, there was child abuse. So this is a minor, and government immunity should not even be a question in this case. And just the way that they manipulated his 14-year-old mind at the time, and even when he was 15 and he took the stand, the way that they were trying to twist and manipulate his words when he said he felt bad. Of course he feels bad. Our family had to move because of, harassment, wanting to get him out of this area. They basically put a target on his back. I had one person who I believe was one of the school board members' husbands, because I remember at that time, I looked at the last name. I can't say for sure. They sent me a picture of our family, one of my Facebook profile pictures, and they basically had future active shooter brother, future active shooter sister, and all these arrows pointing to our family. So there was a little bit of accountability. The teacher is not there. The liaison officer lost his job. The detective was sort of demoted from a field detective to administrative detective. And I found out that the vice principal is no longer in the high school. He's in the elementary school. But that doesn't do anything for Dylan and what they did to Dylan and, his mental state. Something for them, and they're, making sure that these people who played these roles aren't in these positions to do this again. But it doesn't do anything for Dylan.
It definitely had an impact when it happened. I was stressed like every day. Felt bad because I thought I had done something wrong, but it had a huge impact. But it definitely had an impact overall on what would go on from there on out. And we had moved. And it wasn't like a statewide story. So when we moved, it's like nobody really knew that, like, at the new school, the one I'm about to graduate from tomorrow.
Some things that kids kind of knew. I had also had some friends who their kids knew. So
it follows you, that's for sure.
Just take a step back and realize what's happening in the situation and think how you can get through it without it being turned the wrong way, and thinking about what you can do to not have such a huge impact to stop things like it from happening.
I would definitely say invite God into your storm. God is a God of truth and justice. He is a God that is going to bring the darkness to the light. He is going to vindicate you. He is going to hold your head above the water when you feel like you're about to drown. This was the first night that I went without my 14-year-old child. It was very hard. And God has spoken to me tangibly through this experience, and He's helped guide us to get that not guilty verdict. And we're grateful for the relationship that we have with Christ. And if I could tell parents anything, it would be to invite God into your storm. No. So right now, our original civil lawsuit was for I forget what it is now, but it is a federal court. And that judge gave everybody government immunity. So we've actually appealed the case. I've spent about $26,000 defending my son and his rights. And it is now sitting in the appeals court. We just got done writing our brief, and the 3 judges that get assigned to the case will determine if they want to hear oral argument. And then after that, they'll decide if they're going to turn over the lower court's decision. And we're basically fighting for a settlement for him. We would also like, him to be publicly vindicated. So much time has gone on now that I would actually be okay not going on the news. It's definitely not something that we want. But I'm fighting for a settlement for him. They robbed him of his high school experience, and I believe that they should help with his college experience. He wants to go to a college in Utah called Newmont for computer science. And that's why I fight. I'm fighting because what they did to my son was egregious. And I'm also fighting so this doesn't happen to another innocent child. Because if they can do this to my son, they can do it to anyone that they don't like.
I can't believe people still live there.
This is a classic case of free speech. The way that he said it, he said that he would not shoot up the school. So they really just took his words and twisted them. And thank God in the criminal trial, the judge was able to see through all of that.
Thank God.
I've lost a lot of faith in our justice department, that's for sure. But I haven't lost faith in we the people. And, I believe that getting the story out there and, getting the truth out there, I do believe that people will care. And I did set up the Give, Send, Go for him for his college. Was this month alone, there was about, I want to say, I always forget the numbers, like 26 or so cases of these threats in a month. And when Dylan was found not guilty, they dismissed about 15 of them. So I think that just goes to show, mentally at where everyone was. And then here's another thing, Michigan, there was an agenda here because Michigan actually implemented what's called the red flag laws.
Yeah,
so let's say our case happened in 2023. All my assets would have been seized. My younger son would have went to foster care. We wouldn't have had a dime to fight with, and we would have legally been given no due process. The agenda, that was in the mindset of these prosecutors when they were compiling all of these cases.
That's crazy. Where can people see the whole story, Eddie?
I'm going to be, Maurice and I will be hosting the show tomorrow. So I'm going to have that on. We're going to play that so people understand prior to the show. And then we're going to have Dylan and his mother on. It gets much more egregious than that. I just hit the high points in the promo. But like I said, that's why I said when they were telling me the story, I cut a lot of stuff out. But I couldn't help but feel angry, brother.
I couldn't imagine that happening here in Florida. I'll tell you, though, DeSantis would have been at the school himself. I couldn't imagine being separated from my son via the authority of the school. They have no authority here like that.
And then just think, this kid's 14 years old. For the rest of, this has damaged him as far as he's never going to, his perception of being able to trust people is,
if I showed you a picture,
he's not going to be able to trust anybody anymore
at all. If I showed you,
and that's going to happen to people down the road, but he's 14. It didn't need to happen now.
If I showed you a picture of this kid prior to this happening and the look in his eye prior to this happening, and then you could compare it to just who he was right there.
Right.
It's not the same.
You see a different person.
Yeah, that affects you. But anyways, Eddie, thanks for jumping in and giving us that announcement. Eddie. We're gonna get off here. I believe Cowboys and Indians has a show tonight, and we're gonna jump off. We're gonna let the Corporal Chad Owen Foundation play us out. So y'all have a good night. Make sure you hit the thumbs up to follow the Patriots Prayer Network on Rumble and on X. Thanks again, Eddie. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Good night.
Corporal Chad Oligschlager served his country with honor, courage, and unwavering dedication to his fellow Marines. But like so many of our brave servicemen and women, Chad faced an unseen battle, one that tragically took his life. His story is not unique, and that's why the Corporal Chad Oligschlager Foundation was created, to ensure that no veteran suffers in silence. Our mission is clear: to raise awareness about the mental health crisis among veterans, provide access to life-saving resources, and offer direct support to those who have sacrificed so much for our freedom. From peer mentorship programs to crisis intervention to treatment without harmful medications, the Corporal Chado Foundation is committed to making a difference, because every veteran deserves hope, healing, and the chance to live a fulfilling life. Our heroes fought for us. Now it's time for us to fight for them. Join the mission, donate, and get involved, because together we can save lives. Visit cplchato.org today and stand with those who stood for us.